Kalispera to all the urbanists out there. Episode 2 of the Athens Urbanist just premiered on YouTube. Urbanists Exploring Cities. And I'm super excited that this episode has come out. We have 4 more episodes left from this documentary series. And I'm jumping on for a quick live afterwards in order to enjoy a nice drink with all of you and chat about the episode. So let me know where you're watching from. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist. And let's cue the music, shall we? Yeah, I think we shall cue the music. Let's cue the music. There we go. So welcome everyone. Nice to see you here. Hello Daryl. Hello Oleg. For some reason, Facebook isn't working. I'm not sure why I'm unable to go live on Facebook. So I'm going to share this video right now with people on Facebook. But thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Let me know where you're watching from. Welcome everyone. And here you hear me right now live. And welcome Daryl. Welcome Oleg. This is the after party of episode 2 of the Athens Urbanist. Check out the episode after watching this live video if you haven't watched it already. If you already watched it, watch it again. But check it out, enjoy it. Okay. Hello, LAB and Todd and Nicole and Eugene. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you here. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know, do you enjoy the episode? Hello, Philibrators from Britain. Hello, LAB. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. So, I got some nuts because I haven't had a chance to make myself dinner. So I'm gonna eat some nuts before biting and before drinking a nice cup of ouzo. Pytharium watching from Toronto. How big is the little Greece in Toronto? Let me know. I know it's a pretty big population there. I'm eating some cashews and pistachios. My 2 favorite nuts. I go nuts for these nuts. Truly. Hello, Rainer. Hello, Pythagorean. It says 250,000 people live there. Wow, Eugene from the UK. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Purple, welcome. Hello, George. Now, this is what I'm used to. The first 2 episodes have been wonderful. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoy the live format as well. Susie's celebrating with hot chocolate. That's amazing, Susie. All right. So I got myself some ouzo. This was open last week for the premiere. And now I'm 2 episodes in, I'm feeling really good. That first episode I was really nervous. You can see on the live stream that I did right before the premiere of the Athens Urbanist. But now by episode 2, I'm having a really good feeling about it. We almost got 10,000 views for that first episode. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I know it's just the beginning. I know YouTube is kind of a place where you have to build momentum. I've certainly done that in short videos. I've done that to a smaller extent in live videos. But I hope to do that now with long-form videos. With the help of Maria Elpida Querido, who has been my dear editor for this series. Shout out also to G. Gatto, who has edited my short videos and my Christmas documentary before then. And shout out to Katerina, who's the colorist and the illustrator for the episodes. And to many other people. So let's drink some ouzo. This is the only one I can find in New York. Let me know, anyone from New York, are there any other stores I can find other types of ouzo? or sipuro as well, which is a different drink. But here, ouzo of ponmari. Uh-oh, I just got a dire warning from my phone saying insufficient memory will lead to the shutdown of this app. I have so much memory left on my phone. All right, let's pour some ouzo, shall we? Nicole says, "Yeah, 10K views is a good start. It is a good start. You know, it's hard not to compare yourself in YouTube. And there's some of the great YouTubers out there that there's this one woman who does amazing travel documentaries on YouTube, and she posted one video of Mexico City, and in like two days she ended up getting like nearly 100K views. So I was kind of surprised by that. I was really kind of stunned to see that fast. And there's a guy who does videos here, Cash Jordan. He posted a video just today and already has like upwards of 200,000 views. So it's hard not to compare and see those numbers. But that was me before also doing short videos, and I got up there with the views on short videos. So I'm glad to have done that. I did that also with live video. So hopefully I can do that with long form videos as well. But cheers. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. This needs, it's nice to have this. It's actually not that nice to have this alone. You'll need it with some ice. Oh yeah. It depends. You can choose your serving of ice when you're drinking ouzo. I like these big ice cubes. So you're gonna see the difference. Look, it's clear right now, right? It's clear. Look how smoky it gets. Oh. Oh, I love ouzo for that. It's very similar to absinthe in that regard. I don't think there's another liquor that does that. As far as I know, it's absinthe and ouzo that do that. So a lot of people saying, I have a more intelligent audience. Yeah, I have a audience that has a bit more of a intellectual appetite. So for sure, my videos dig a bit deeper than your average food vlog or your average travel vlog. And I'm glad I'm able to. Oh, this has got very milky. This is anise, yes. Ouzo is made with anise. So here we would say cheers in America, but in Greece, we're in the Greek spirit right now, no pun intended. So yamas, steliamas. Ooh. Opa. Oh. Ooh. That's strong. Oh my god. As Yorgos in the episode, the third guest that you saw in the episode said, when you drink ouzo, you feel like a god. There you go. Hey, Anthony says, I listen to most episodes while cooking. I gotta say, the sound quality, ambiance, and style of interviews was done really well, which led to an immersive experience. Hey, man, that's awesome that audio-wise, it led to an immersive experience. I appreciate hearing that, Anthony. A huge shout out goes to Katerina, who did the sound editing. Excuse me, who did the sound editing for this episode. But I'm glad that just the interview style and how the interviews were edited together, that even if you weren't necessarily watching the episode, that you listening to the episode still felt rather immersive. Also, we took great care in putting sound effects that would immerse you more. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Pythagoras says, "Will I be breaking plates?" I don't feel like doing that with my plates. Nicole says, yes, but 99% of videos don't get 10K views in 1 week. Yes, of course, yeah, YouTube is there's a lot of people who post on YouTube, yeah. Mr. Andrew says, I'm not just, I have no idea who you are, but I'm just passing through random YouTube lives. Hey, man, thank you so much for saying hello. Appreciate that. Purple, nice to see you here. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. George says, with the holidays happening here, there are a lot of people traveling. It's a good thing you're drinking with us and not just by yourself, says George. Yeah, I don't really ever drink by myself. I don't find it too fun. But yes, on the live video with friends or family, 100%, we'll enjoy a good drink. What's in the cup? Ouzo, the Greek spirit. Usually meant after food, but it's time to celebrate. Hey, Todd says, will you do more 360 videos? Enjoyed seeing the forum. Hey, I'm so glad you enjoyed my 360 videos. 360 videos, they don't do well, unfortunately, on YouTube, and Facebook took away support for 360 videos, which is a big shame. And I post these 360 videos and I get a comment very frequently saying, hey, it looks blurry. Hey, why is the camera pointing at your feet? This is a terrible video. It's not pointed in the right direction. And unfortunately, I don't think people who watch these videos understand how 360 videos work. And I think that's partly a fault of the platform. And YouTube really doesn't care about 360 videos. So yeah, you know, that's why I haven't posted that many 360 videos. I kind of lost interest. But I do know that there's a portion of people out there who really do enjoy them, and there's a portion of people who really derive a lot from it, you know, because you feel so immersed. You're in this world, enjoying it. I think 360 video has a lot to offer, but it just kind of sucks. In the platforms, they just don't promote it. Ferricine, what's my name? Ariel. Watch it says, hey, you're the New York City historian guy. Yeah, I am. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't get me confused with the other New York City historian guy, or that other New York City historian guy, or that other New York City historian guy. For some reason, a lot of the New York City historian guys have beards and glasses. They all have dark hair. What's up with that? What is up with that? Why do all the New York City historian guys all have dark hair, beard, and glasses? I'm not sure why. Hey, do you have a chance to try stuffed calamari? No, I did not. Pythagorean. I didn't even know stuffed calamari was the thing. Hello, Adam. Nice to see you here. Ariel, the best food and dessert from Athens, if you can only choose one. My favorite dessert, my favorite food from Athens, and as I mentioned this in my in the live chat for the episode, is I really love Greek salad. Greek salad, the thing is, Greek salad sounds so simple. And it sounds boring. Because if you have a Greek salad here in the US, most of the time it's rather boring. So I really don't enjoy a Greek salad or most salads in most places around the world. But in Greece is one of those few places where salads are just amazing. And it's due to the fresh quality produce that has so much flavor and also the olive oil. The olive oil really makes it. And you think, oh yeah, here in America we have tomatoes, we have cucumbers, we have some oregano, we have some olive oil. Why are they not the same? But they are very, very, very different. For example, here we get really low quality olive oil. Basically, the last low grade olive oil that is left over from the harvest in Greece, and this also applies to Italy, is sent over to here, to America, and to other parts, Canada, England. So olive oil here really doesn't taste much. And that's why when you have a Greek salad, it's like, it's just cucumbers and tomatoes smothered in oil. Like, But over there is just an entire experience. Also with the feta cheese. The feta cheese is what really makes it as well. Hey, do Greeks celebrate Easter like Catholics? I don't know for sure, but it's very similar. They do celebrate Easter. Easter is more important or more celebrated, more of like an event in Greek Orthodoxy than it is in Catholicism. Someone asked me about religion. I was raised Catholic. Daniel says olive oil is very healthy too. Firestorm says, yeah, you should try it. Oleg says, I like 360 videos technology, but it's meant to have a lower picture quality due to the bigger density of data. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. See the downside. Pythagorean says, we have a different Easter date, which is a couple of weeks later. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us know. What's my call says, do you have interesting antiques to show? No, I do not. The show is about travel, history, and architecture, so feel free to ask any questions about that. I have a silly would you rather page. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kat, nice to see you here. Olive oil is also good for your hair and skin. It is indeed. I bet the background is from an Urbanist soundtrack. Yes. Right there, it's playing. Great. Nuji says, I thought you were urban planner. No, I am not an urban planner. I don't work in anything related to urbanism. I make videos about exploring cities, and I do talk about history, architecture, and urbanism, but I don't work as an urban planner. I don't have training as an urban planner either. My degree is in electrical engineering. I've worked in media, so I never worked as an urban planner either, nor an architect. Whatchamacallit says, what's your favorite architectural place that you visited? I think the one city that's just mind-blowingly beautiful in terms of architecture has to be Italy. Rome, Italy is definitely number one. I've been hard-pressed to find a city that could compare in its grandeur of gorgeous architecture. Athens architecture is an acquired taste, and you're going to learn in episode 3 about Athens architecture. Adriana says, can you ask a random question? Yes, you can. Hey, Guillermo dice, hola muchacho, ¿cómo está? Estoy muy bien, ¿cómo está? Con todo, contigo. Puedes preguntarme cualquier cosa en español también. You can ask me anything in Spanish. Paris, I think, is the more ubiquitously, beautifully designed city. meaning that there's blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks that are just gorgeous. And then I think also like yeah, I think Rome just has that punch. Is it better to go to Sorrento or Positano? It's better to go to... It'll be cheaper for you to stay in Sorrento and do a day trip to Positano. It's rather expensive to go to Positano directly because it's so popular. Choose one city to live, then one to vacation, and one to work, says Great Nuji. One city to live would be Paris or Athens. One city to vacation would be... It's a good question. Vacation, you know, I really don't take vacations, but if I really want to chill out, it would be Paris. Paris is just a great city to chill out and just socialize, hang out with friends. It's such a beautiful city. And then to work, well, my work is videos. Rome for sure. Hey, Daniel says, not only on YouTube with Ariel, I was so impressed. I think I'll see Ariel back in Vienna soon, says Daniel. Yes, I think you will. And Adam says, how about Albuquerque? Have you been? I haven't been to New Mexico yet. No, not yet. So everyone, thank you so much for watching this second episode of the Athens Urbanist. I really do appreciate it. It has been such a blast to show you beautiful Athens. Pythagorean says, do you find the Greek language difficult? Not pronunciation. I found Italian, French pronunciation harder than Greek. Greek to me comes more naturally, and I think it's because I'm a Spanish speaker, and Greek has very similar sounds to Spanish for some random reason. It's a little bit of a linguistic mystery as to why they sound very similar, but they do. So to me, learning Greek, I feel like it will be easier time, especially just learning how to pronounce words. And I'm actually very interested in learning Greek. I tried learning Duolingo, but I realized Duolingo is actually not that efficient. So I gotta find out a way to learn languages. I never really dedicated to learn languages. Purple says, did you find a wife in Greece? No, I did not, but I did interview a priest here for my Christmas documentary for the Greek Orthodox Church in World Trade Center. And he did bless me with finding a Greek wife. He's like, may you find a Greek wife in 2024. That's what he said to me. That was not captured on camera. That was captured on mic. CT says, what's your favorite German city? I've only been to two, Berlin and Munich. I enjoyed Munich a lot more. But Berlin, I think I want to go again and try it more. Is English a new language to the Greeks? A lot of young Greeks know English. And I think anyone below the age of really 40, definitely, I think most people below the age of 50 know English pretty damn well. English is pretty ubiquitous in Greece. It was very easy to get around just with English. I didn't feel like I needed to know other languages in Greece, really. I didn't feel like I needed to know Greek, 100%. It was definitely powerful to say a few words, for sure. Let me play. You have to stay longer in Berlin to like it. Is it true that Athens is going through some tough times? Athens has improved quite a lot. It went through very tough times in the economic crisis. And that I'm covering episode 3 and 4 of the Athens Urbanist. So stay tuned for those 2 episodes coming up. Thursday at 7 p.m. It went through tough times in the economic crisis. Episode 4, I really go deeper into the crisis that happened in the early 2000s. It has recovered pretty well since the economic crisis. I am not Greek, I don't live there, but from what I've seen and learned and spoken to people, it seems like it has recovered quite a lot. So I wouldn't say that Athens is going through tough times. I would say Athens is kind of going through a resurgence, and it's on the up for sure. CT says, do you think we should ban cars completely from cities? Not completely. I think cars are still useful for transportation of goods and emergency vehicles and buses. But personal transportation, I think most cities would really benefit from limiting the use of cars. But maybe not limiting the use of cars, but more so building more public transportation to de-incentivize people from using cars. I think it'll benefit greatly. I really love our Western society where, especially in America, where we don't really make any impositions on what you could use to transport yourself. So you could drive around, you could use a public transportation. We don't force you to legally do something. And I wouldn't be a fan of trying to force anyone to legally stop using cars. I wouldn't do that. But I personally think it'll be beneficial for major cities to build more public transportation and build wider sidewalks and basically just de-incentivize people from driving. Like, if you just build better public transportation, wider sidewalks and better bicycle paths, and allow for more mixed-use zoning in major cities where you don't have to walk around so far for a grocery store or for a bite to eat or to hang out with friends for a drink, then I think you'll see a lot less car usage over time. My son lives in Brooklyn, does not own a car. Yes, you don't really need to own a car in New York City, but I think New York City itself could also really improve. Whatchamacallit says, as a tourist in Greece, what was your experience? Incredible. Greece is one of the most hospitable countries in the entire world. Of course, you have to take it with consideration. You know how I look like. You know how I you know the language I'm speaking in. You have to take that into consideration, of course. But from my experience, Greece is one of the most hospitable countries in the entire world. And most people that I've spoken with from all different backgrounds have told me the same thing. So it seems like Greece definitely is very hospitable. Of course, not every country is perfect, and Greece is not included. And there will always there's always a country who does not like who you are, who assumes negative things just by the way you look like. And this can be the case anywhere. So you always have to take that with consideration, and I would say always take the path of least resistance. Meaning, go to countries. If you're someone who loves to travel. I would say generally it's nice to travel to places where you're already accepted. And I definitely follow that. I've been to certain cities in Europe where I just did not feel that accepted. Madrid being one of them. But I've been to other cities where I did feel really accepted, like Greece, like parts of England, like Scotland. So I think it's really worth going to those places that you really enjoy. And Robert says, good amount of trolls here. Yeah, I'm gonna need more YouTube moderators again. It seems like vertical live streaming just goes out to way more people. So there's a lot more trolls, and I think just people are having more fun just trolling now, unfortunately. So if anyone wants to be a moderator, and I will only consider people whose name I recognize, reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on Instagram if you want to be a moderator. LAB says, I just ordered my passport today. LAB, thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations. Nebud can now only apply. Nebud. Nebud gets an automatic upgrade to a moderator. Nebud is very well versed in live streaming. So, hey, welcome everyone to our new moderator, Nebud. Thank you so much for volunteering to moderate. I appreciate that. Pythagorean says, I would, yes, reach out to me on Instagram, Urbanist Live. But I appreciate all the moderators, LAB, Nebul, who's tuning in right now, Ron, Stephanie. A lot of people tune in very often, and they moderate the chat, which sometimes could get a bit crazy, depending when. Great says, what's the best city to film in? The best city, this shirt is not the best because this shirt, even if I put it in this position, it starts opening up. This is not the best lounging shirt. The best city to film? It really does depend. The place that's easiest to just film literally anything, including cultural institutions, museums, art galleries, landmarks, is for sure UK, specifically England. England is just so easy to film anywhere and everywhere. I rarely ever encounter anyone saying to me, do not film here in England. I was kind of shocked how easy it was to live stream everywhere. Pleasant place to film was Copenhagen, Denmark in general, because people are just so happy there. So I got so many genuine smiles and like waves from random people. So they were all nice. They're like, hi. They're all very friendly in a different way from Americans. Excuse me. Like very like this kind of genuine friendliness. And then another place that was very interesting to live stream and to film was Finland, Helsinki, which I went back in 2017, and no one cared. No one batted an eye what I was doing. They just let me do my thing. So it was very easy to film there. Cat Ranger says you might need a button. No, all the buttons are here. It's just the shirt just. Some Greek suntan is starting to show. Indeed, it is. Cheers. Nebud says, do you encounter a place in France you cannot film in? France is also fairly easy to film in. The only downside of France is it's similar to New York. There's more weird people in France. So on some occasion, I did encounter some weird people. You know, people who are just kind of, it's just weird. It happens in some cities. New York being one of them, and I think France is the only one, but not as bad as New York. France was fairly easy. Hey, Stephanie says, "Is this a new apartment?" I stole someone's apartment. You know, I'm squatting. No, I'm joking. Barris, nice to see you here. Susie says, "Weird people making things interesting." It does, and for some reason, people love that type of live streams and those type of videos. In my personal opinion, it's not so pleasant. Whatchamacallit says, more details about the weirdness, story time. The one that's top of mind for France was in Lyon. I was live streaming, and I started in this beautiful bar with on top of the opera with nice views of the city, and I was having a drink doing the live stream. And unfortunately, well, as I was live streaming, there was this group of teenagers, or like late teens, early 20 somethings. They were pretty young, and they were like in not the best English. They were asking me what I was doing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm live streaming YouTube," and they got super excited, like really excited. This group of like 3 dudes, they got super excited, and they just started like pointing, like, "Oh, YouTube," and they asked me to take a Snapchat photo with them. And they said photo, Snapchat, photo. And it's a bit weird, first, to just do a random photo with someone who I have no idea who they are. But the other thing was that I noticed that it wasn't a photo. The guy was taking a video. And I found that very odd, because I knew that the guy knew that he was taking a video and he was taking a photo. I knew that he was lying. I didn't know why. I assumed that he just wanted to take a video to say, "Hey, we found this silly live streamer." You know, who cares? But nonetheless, I'm like, yeah, all right, bye-bye. So like, I didn't even bother posing. I just said, "Oh, I gotta go, goodbye." So I end up going, and as I'm walking around the city, I hear these guys, "Hey, YouTuber, Urbanist!" And those guys are following me through the city. And I'm like, "Hey, bye." I'm like saying, yeah, all right, have a great day. And about 15 minutes later, I noticed that they're still following me, these 3 dudes. And it wasn't, I didn't get the vibe it was to do anything like bad to me. So I didn't feel unsafe, but I knew that they just wanted to fuck around, and I did not like that. So I ended up going into a church, and luckily they did not follow me into the church, and I just lingered in the church for a while. And I kind of had the feeling that these guys weren't gonna fuck around with me going to a church. And luckily there was a service going on at the same time. So I went into the church, live streamed a little bit of the service, which was nice. And then I finished the live stream just a little bit later, and it was okay. But that was, for example, a weird encounter that not every city you might encounter this. There's very few cities that you have, very few cultures where you have people kind of would do that. This is rare in the Nordic cultures. It's rare in Greece. It's kind of rare in Italy. It's definitely not so much the case in like Scotland. You wouldn't find this. But France, New York, like parts of the US, you would find this. There's definitely certain countries where you find a little bit more of people like that who just want to fuck around. So it depends on the culture. But by all means, France was an incredibly beautiful place to live stream. And there was more amazing experiences than negative. Naboo says the young people can also sometimes be pushy. Yes, yes, it's a cultural thing. Yeah, yeah. Have you encountered fans overseas? Cat, yeah, a lot of places. Even the most random places. I encountered a librarian who was a fan of the show in Bucharest, Romania. Um, Two very young kids who were in the barista competition, for example, here in New York, which I found so random. I usually don't have that many followers that are that young. I was like stunned to see these teenage kids were a fan of my show. Um, I saw random followers also in Santorini. I remember that. Santorini was a really far off one. And oh my god, the most far off one, the one that I really did not expect. I was taking the ferry over to Ikaria, Greece. And Ikaria, Greece is an island where almost no tourists go. Greeks go, but mostly just in the summertime. So it's pretty far off island. It's probably the most far off island that you can get to in Greece. There might be a few others a bit more farther, but it's pretty out of the way. And I was going to Ikaria, and as I was about to step off the ferry, a guy says, "Hey man, are you the guy who's making videos about Athens?" And yeah, it was a fan of the show, and he saw me on the ferry to Ikaria, Greece, and he was an Ikaria local. So that was kind of crazy. Hey, Pythagorean says, you got so close to Samos. I was so tempted to stop in Samos. Samos is the island that looks like a city. That is like a city, right? It's the most like urbanized of the Aegean Islands. Is it Samos? No, Samos is not. Samos is closer to the Turkish coast. Yeah, I was also tempted to go Samos. I heard great things. Frederick says, I saw you at Sagrada Familia. Ah, yeah, you did. You did see me. Well, I know you wrote a comment. People have seen me, yeah. In Barcelona, I got like two people who saw me. Almost all parts of Europe. Denmark. The only place where I did not... Even in Slovakia, I got someone who saw me in Slovakia. They saw me in Bratislava. Yeah. Yeah, so even the most random places. Favorite transportation mode in Greece? Uber, because it's so cheap. From my American perspective, it's so cheap. So Uber by far was the cheapest. But if I had to take a public transportation, I really like the tram that goes all the way to Ikaria. I mean to Glyfada, which is like the beach area of Athens. CT says, can you imagine living in Venice? No. No. I just cannot imagine all the dampness in those buildings with all the water that leaks through. So no, I can't imagine myself living in Venice, but I can imagine traveling more to Venice for sure. Cheese Boy subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Firestorm says, are we all old? Firestorm, yeah, most of my followers are above the age of 24. Yeah, Firestorm, quite literally. I have very, very few followers below the age of 24. I was watching the stats for my Athens Urbanist episode 1. 0% under 24. That means no one under the age of 24 saw my videos. Saw my first episode at the Athens Urbanist. Yoli says, what am I eating? I'm eating nuts. I'm nuts for these nuts. Will Lufthansa sponsor more videos? Ah, Nicole. German companies seem to love you. German companies don't love me. I wish that were the case. Maybe that'll change. Nicole, I don't have the best experience trying to collaborate with a German company. But Lufthansa was a pleasure to work with and very easy to work with, for sure. My video did not get that many views on TikTok, which is a bit of a shame. I ended up getting 9,000 for the first video, and the second video is doing very poorly at 1,700 views, which is basically horrendously low for my viewership on TikTok. I'm not sure what went wrong. I'm not sure what could go better. It's tough because the type of video that I did was a bit different from what I usually do. The second video specifically was a bit different from what I usually do. Siemens Mobility. Oh, German. Yeah, you're right. Siemens Mobility is a German company. So Nicole is also referring to Siemens Mobility, which I worked with, who are also German. I worked with the American branch of Siemens Mobility, but yes, they were very nice. My Siemens Mobility videos went crazy viral, and they continue to go very viral. So I got a lot of views with those videos, but unfortunately now with the 2 Lufthansa videos, I will most likely ask them, hey, can I post these videos on my other channels with no extra charge? Maybe they'll perform better on YouTube or Instagram. Maybe. But who knows what their goals are, because part of the videos were made so they can use as ads. So they are posting those, they'll eventually post those videos as ads, probably on Instagram and TikTok. And hopefully they'll get a lot of views when they use it as ads, or they'll be able to get a lot of views when they use it as ads because they'll put money into it. So hopefully it works for them in that regard. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe the fact that I didn't get that many views on TikTok wouldn't be too much of an issue for them, and they would think that the collaboration was worth it, and they might be interested in getting. But I might work with Siemens Mobility again, that's for sure. And Siemens Mobility asked me to go to their German factory, so crossing fingers. Susie says, how did you get the Lufthansa partnership? They reached out to me randomly. They probably saw my TikTok, or I was on some type of list, but they reached out to me. Nicole says, I'm wondering why they didn't get that many views. The videos were great. I think the videos were indeed great. I think the second video did not get that many views because it's just a different style from what people are used to. And then the first video, I don't know, I think Barcelona is interesting, but in such a short time, the videos had to be basically less than 40 seconds, between 30 and 45 seconds. That length is shorter than what I'm used to. I usually do like history videos or behind the scenes videos. So those videos tend to be around a minute, and I stuff a lot of stuff into a minute. But it's hard for me to go lower than, say, 55 seconds. Really, it's really hard to really make a good quality like my style video, I find it really difficult to go lower. It is possible, and I did it with Lufthansa, but I think the location of Barcelona isn't as eye-catching in such a short amount of time. Because even if visually, if you look at the Sagrada Familia, it's stunning if you shoot it with a nice camera and it's like wide angle and you get a lot of the church, or you're there in person. But in a quick vertical frame, you don't know what you're looking at. And I think that's why maybe the videos did not do as well. I might have had better luck if they would have sent me to maybe England and I was shown like Stonehenge and Glastonbury Tor and like the London Bridge, Tower Bridge, I mean. Barcelona, I think they just did not have that many eye-catching things for a short video in the vertical format that other cities might be able to offer, like parts of England or Rome, or even Athens could have worked, I think, pretty well. Great New G says, not to be a critic, maybe your style of video is not what markets demand today. It is. Great New G, I think you're watching me for the first time, but my videos get quite a bit of views. So I definitely make videos that get a lot of views, for sure. Not all of them. I don't have hits all the time, and I don't delete videos. So there's other content creators, you might look at their feed on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts and think to yourself, oh my, these guys have hit after hit after hit. But some of those content creators delete the videos that don't get that many views. So you have the impression that they're just making a bunch of hits. I don't do that. I don't delete videos. But I do definitely have some gigantic hits, especially in the history space and the architecture space. So my videos work well. Not all of them. And yeah, they work well. That's why I have had the privilege and the honor of working with some awesome companies. Nicole says Paris. Paris also stuck out pretty well as well. Paris is a bit too like overdone, so I don't think it would have had that novelty factor. Paris, for some reason, intuitively, I don't think will have done well. You know why? Because even my Eiffel Tower videos, short videos, and also live streams, did not do well. And I think it's just because everyone knows about Paris. They just don't find it too novel. And yeah, I've realized also that with a lot of my European videos. I think a lot of my videos in Europe don't get insane views like other travel TikTokers, travel content creators, because I show places that people know or think that they know, as opposed to other travel content creators that go to really far off places that people have this inherent fascination by, and including myself. But I don't know. I think that's why I gravitate to Europe. I think I like Europe because Europe, people think that they know Athens, but there's a lot more. People think that they know New York, but there's way more. People think that they know London, but there's way more to London. I think all these cities have way more to offer than what people think they already know. And that's why I continue going back to Europe or continue making New York videos. Trick says, I look like your stage director. Oh, all right. Interesting. He's a handsome man, then. Have you tried Malta? I would love to go to Malta. Oh, yeah. Malta is definitely on top of my list. I've been wanting to go to Malta for quite a while. Rafael says, deleting videos causes the algorithm to depreciate your channel. On YouTube, yes. Not on TikTok. And not really on Instagram. Yeah. On YouTube, yes. That is indeed the case. CT says, favorite place in the Alps. But on YouTube, you don't need to delete. You can unlist your video. Favorite place in the Alps. I haven't been too much to the Alps. I want to go back. But I loved Chamonix, France so much that I need to go back. Miss Lob says, and you learn from locals. Yeah, exactly. Favorite place that is in Europe or the Americas? I really only have been to North America and Europe. I have not been yet to Asia. I have not yet been to Africa nor South America. I haven't been to those areas. I've traveled extensively through Europe and parts of North America. I haven't been that much through other parts of the world yet. But I hope to go soon. Nabul says, your videos in Mont Saint-Michel were awesome, also in the Alps. Ah, thank you so much, Nabul. Yeah. I think you should consider doing Istanbul. Yes. I might be doing Istanbul soon. Stay tuned. How about the British coast? I would love to go to Cornwall, specifically. There's a lot more to Britain. I think Britain is also kind of... England, specifically, is underrated. People have not done... There's not enough videos about England. England is a gorgeous country. And there's so much. Hey, Susie says, summer's coming. Time for Puerto Rico. The best time for Puerto Rico is now, because over here is cold and over there is hot. And also, the clearest weather in Puerto Rico is this time of the year. So cheers. All right. I'll stick around for 5 more minutes. Thank you everyone so much for asking great questions. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll be doing another road trip with Evan. Who knows? Maybe one day, yeah. I definitely enjoyed doing that road trip with Evan. That was amazing. We went to 9 countries in 2 weeks. And then I went to Barcelona, so it was 10 countries in 3 weeks I did. We drove 2,800 miles, which was a lot. Steve Marsh is a good YouTuber from Scotland. Yeah, there's some great Scottish YouTubers. There's not that many YouTubers that cover England in depth that I've seen. So I think there's a lot more to England. Have you been to... Have you been to Florida, Jupiter, Florida? No. I love road trips, so a bit slower. Yeah, I felt very tired after that road trip. Very, very tired. It was almost way too much, way too fast. But I did enjoy, like, my road trip with Evan through the Peloponnese was a lot more pleasant because it was slower. I mean, I really enjoyed that European road trip, but we went fast. And there was not much time in each of the places. And I felt tired out. I cannot imagine how tired Evan was because he did all the driving. Purple says, hello from DR. Buenos días. Qué bien que está viendo de la República Dominicana. Me encantaría ir a la República Dominicana. I would love to go to DR. And feel free to ask me any last questions. Daniel says, it was so fast I could hardly keep up. We went to a lot of places. Luckily, all the replays are up there. Dwayne says, greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. Hey, man, nice to see you here. Gray Nuguji says, you gotta step out of your comfort zone. Go to other countries. You know, I think most people who end up traveling, there's like a spectrum, and most people veer towards both ends of the spectrum. They're in the side where it's, oh, let me just go to the places that feel very safe. So for Americans, that ends up being like Florida. Florida is amazing, but that usually is like the first thing that many Americans would think about if they just want to stick to somewhere very safe. Florida or parts of the Caribbean, like those resort islands in the Caribbean. That's like or Tulum in Mexico. Like those are super safe options for a lot of Americans. And Europeans definitely have their own super safe options. And then you have the other side of the spectrum, people who think that in order to be a real traveler, you have to go to these really far out places that from an American perspective, they would be just really different from what you're used to. So from an American perspective, it might be like India or Burma, Myanmar, or Vietnam, which I assume are all places very interesting to visit. But I noticed that some people go there thinking that they need to go there to be a true traveler, and hence they just don't end up deriving so much enjoyment initially from it because it's very different. So in those places, sometimes it takes a bit getting used to in order to deeply enjoy. And I think what's underrated is those places in the middle that are just outside of your comfort zone. Not quite too safe, but not quite too out there. And I think that middle area is very underrated, and that middle area definitely provides, I think, from a traveling perspective, the most rewarding experiences. So that's why I love Greece. Greece, I'm not Greek. I don't know Greek. And Greece does not have the best public transportation. But I went there nonetheless. So it was just outside my comfort zone. Not too much, but just outside. And I derived so much deep pleasure from it. I met so many wonderful people. People that I will be friends with for many years. Greece is a place I will continue to go back to. It's a place that I was comfortable enough to stay for 2 months. And those areas, I think, really offer the most, because if you go to a place that's too crazy, it's great, it's novel, you're gonna have some great stories to tell friends and family members when you go back home, like, oh, I went to this crazy place, like I went to a nuclear bunker in Poland, I can tell people about that. But I think what really brings value to one's life are those areas just outside your comfort zone, but not too much. Because if you go to a place that's crazy outside your comfort zone, it's a crazy area, you had some crazy experiences, but will you have a friend that you can call a friend for many years from now? Not everyone, majority of people wouldn't experience that. Some people would, but not everyone. Most people won't. Would you say that you integrated or was able to get acquainted with the culture on a deeper level? Some people will. Most won't, if you're going to a place that's really far off from your comfort zone. And this is very evident when you see travel vloggers. They look like they had a blast. It looks very interesting, very different. But you can tell these guys really didn't connect with the culture on a deeper level because it's just so different from what they're used to. And I think that's what people in my industry, which is travel entertainment online, kind of miss out on is those areas, like from my American perspective, a Greece, a Slovakia, a Denmark, the deeper parts of Italy, the parts of France that are not Paris, and the parts of England that are not London. Those areas I really have memories that I will carry with me for life. They might not sound so glamorous, and they don't. I've noticed that. I've noticed that talking to friends. People enjoy my videos, but I've noticed like when I talk to friends or to family members about my travels throughout Europe, not that many people are deeply interested. I don't get too many questions about these places. People are not like, "Ooh, tell me more about the countryside of England. Tell me more about Sheffield. Ooh, tell me more about Slovakia." I really don't get that. I don't get that much. And I've noticed it's for two reasons. A, they're not novel enough, at least in like initially. Like if I get a deeper conversation, or if it's a really close friend or a family member, I can get into a conversation where I am sharing my travel experiences, and it is a fascinating conversation. But at least initially, especially to people I might not know too well, or just a casual conversation, people are not so interested in these locations because they're not novel. They're not really deeply fascinating to them, because when they think of fascination, they want to know about Mongolia. They want to know about Chad, Africa. They want to know about Syria. They want to know about crazy stuff. That's what catches people's eyes in conversation quickly, initially. And then the second factor is time. Basically, since I'm just experiencing this now, I don't think my experiences have really had time to be interesting to a good mass of people, because I think when you have some time removed from your travel, more interest kind of develops. And I've noticed that with my dad talking about his travels to Mexico. They're so fascinating to me because, from my perspective, it's 40 years removed, and I find it really fascinating. But if I tell someone about my travel to Mexico City, most people I know in person wouldn't really care too much. And that's definitely the case. The places I go are not so fascinating on a superficial level. They're not as glamorous. But oh boy, they're deeply interesting. And I think I've done a good job in my videos to capture that. Yeah. So that's a very long response to saying, hey, you should go to crazy places. I think I will, but I don't think it's necessary. I definitely don't want to go to a crazy place just to say that I went there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that in my content. I don't want to go to some crazy war-torn area to say I've been there, or some really far-off place where my life could be more in danger, just so I can say this is a cool video. I don't want to do that. I want to go to places that I'm deeply fascinated by, and I'm sure I will end up going to places that are really interesting, very far out there, that I will be fascinated by, and hence my content will be fascinating. for sure. Hey, Adriana says, thank you, Ariel. We appreciate your work. Oh, glad. Firestorm and Daniel says, the English are anything but boring. I agree. Fascinating country. I love it. Found England super fascinating. Susie says, I made the news in Sheffield. Sheffield is still one of the more memorable places I visited. Daniel says, we love you in Europe. Oh, I'm glad. What other parts of Canada would you visit, says Dwayne. Toronto and Vancouver on top of mine. I want to show Quebec City at some point as well. Nabud says, Greece is amazing. I didn't know what to expect before seeing your videos. Yes, because most people just know Santorini, Mykonos, and Athens. And just Athens, they just know the Acropolis. So I'm so glad you enjoyed me going to other parts of Greece beyond that. Great Nguji says, name 3 countries in that middle area. Recently that I've been to, I would say Greece, Slovakia, and Poland. For sure. I saw your video of Lake Como with that annoying little boy. Annoying little boy? Adrian, I forgot what happened in Lake Como. Yeah, I forgot. Adriana, I'm glad you enjoyed that old video. What country are you most likely to expat to? I think Greece. Greece or France. Have you considered Australia and New Zealand? 100%. I just need a way bigger budget. Dwayne says, how is the lamb in Greece? It's rare. It's rare to find lamb in Greece. I don't cover it in my documentary series, but I do have a short video about why lamb isn't that popular in Greece. It's more popular in Greek American or Greek Canadian cuisine or Greek Australian cuisine than it is in Greece. The reason for that is there was a big military takeover in the late 1960s, early 1970s in Greece. And in this military takeover, they wanted to really be as different from the Turks as much as possible. So they banned a lot of things that would be considered more Ottoman, more Turkish. And they also renamed a lot of foods, like Turkish coffee. It was known as Turkish coffee in Greece and many other parts of the world. But they renamed it to Greek coffee. Turkish delights were renamed to Greek delights. A lot of things were Greekified during that military regime. And one of the victims to that switch to the military regime was lamb. Lamb was seen as too Turkish, too Ottoman. So they switched. So in essence, the government literally switched from lamb to pork almost overnight. They greatly incentivized Greek people to buy pork, and they greatly de-incentivized shop owners or butchers, or I'm not sure exactly what laws were passed, but they de-incentivized lamb. So lamb, in the course of a few years, went from one of the more mainly eaten foods to one of the least in Greece. And Greece ended up becoming mostly a chicken and pork eating country during that military regime and definitely after. So that's why Greek Americans who came here prior to the military regime, and this also applies to Greek Canadians and Greek Australians and Greek English as well, most Greeks that end up immigrating to these parts end up moving. They were coming here before the military regime. So they were lamb eaters. So when they came over here and started making gyros, they started using mostly lamb. And they continue to do so even to this day. But Greeks don't. They don't eat that much lamb. It's more rare. Pork is definitely more ubiquitous. Beef to a smaller extent as well, but definitely pork and chicken are king in Greece. So I really did not have the experience at all eating lamb. I couldn't really find that much lamb. Which country has the most friendliest people in the world? So far, the friendliest people that I've encountered, um, three countries for sure. Ireland. The friendliness is not like a warm, like a huggy friendliness, for sure. But it's like this kind of like, let's shoot the shit together. Let's have a fun time. Let's joke around. Let's just be fast friends. Definitely the vibe in Ireland. The second place is Denmark. Denmark very different from Ireland. Denmark is very direct, straight to the point, but there's this genuine friendliness. If people enjoy your presence, they will smile. If they don't enjoy your presence, they won't smile. So when you see someone smile, you know they mean it. And that is very beautiful. And the Danes, just since they tend to be very happy people, just because the country is such great circumstances, they just have great quality of life in Denmark, that they're all outside especially in the summertime, outside drinking, wearing these like super short shorts. For some reason they like short shorts. They're all super tan and they're all like waving, they're all like happy. They're all happy in Denmark. It's a really interesting country. And then the third is definitely Greece. Greece, you have this kind of more bodacious, more extravagant friendliness. Like, this person will make you friends for life. You know, in Ireland, it's fast friends joking around. You're having you're enjoying some good crack. CRAIC, not the other type of crack. You're enjoying some good crack. You're just enjoying a good time. So it's very easy to shoot the shit with the Irish person. But with the Greek, you have these kind of definitely this kind of like, not huggy for sure, but this kind of like open arm friendliness. Like, hey, welcome to my place. Sometimes it takes just a little bit to crack through, but generally it's fairly easy to crack through to most Greeks and get this very warm hospitality. But Manny, gracias por viendo este video. Manny asked a great question, but before I get to Manny, there's actually a fourth one that's very close, is Mexico. So Mexico has this courteous friendliness. This friendliness that they want you to enjoy your time in Mexico. They want you to enjoy the food you're having. And it's very courteous. And people just want to chat. They want to get to know you. It's kind of this calm friendliness. And I really enjoy that about Mexicans. Specifically Mexico City. I haven't been to other parts of Mexico. But Mexico City, and I've encountered with Mexicans here from other parts, you have this very strong courteousness, this very calm friendliness. People just want to have a nice time. They want to get to know you. They want to chat. They want to provide any assistance or recommendations or suggestions for you. You know, in Mexico, I was there for only 2 weeks. I had like 4 people offer me to show me like around. I took 2 of those offers, 3 of those offers I took. So I had people just show me around. 4, actually. I took 4 of those offers. I had more. I had like 5 or 6 people saying, hey, you know, let me show you around my neighborhood. Let me show you around my area. And I had 4 people that just said, yeah, let's do it. And these were all live streamed. And it's interesting. I just made friends so fast in Mexico. Really fast. I did not make too many friends with the Danes. I think the Danes are very friendly up front, but I think to really make friends is a bit harder in Denmark. But definitely Ireland, Greece, and Mexico, very easy to make friends. And Manny dice, ¿qué idioma te gustaría hablar en la perfección? Me encantaría hablar griego en la perfección. Yo creo que ese idioma es bien precioso y yo creo que lo puedo aprender. Tengo que dedicarme a aprender griego, pero sí me encantaría aprender griego. So I would love to learn Greek. Manny asks, what question would you love to learn to perfection? Greek, for sure. Wow, we have had so many great questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Susie says, compare Brooklynites to Athenians. Very different. Brooklyn is such a multicultural area. It's a huge place. Brooklyn is bigger than most European cities. 2.8 million people. It's a huge, huge, huge borough. But Brooklyn is so multicultural that, yes, there is a Brooklyn culture, but there's also the kind of these micro cultures within Brooklyn. And then also you have people who are bringing their cultures from other parts of the world. And for sure, I think the best description I've heard is people say that in LA, people are nice, but they aren't kind. But people in New York are kind, but they aren't nice. And I think that really describes New York very well. We are kind, but we aren't nice. New Yorkers, unlike other parts of America, we don't have this kind of niceness. We're not really smiling a lot, you know. It's a bit weird if you smile too much in New York. We're not friendly necessarily that upfront that quickly, but you can get really friendly with a New Yorker also fairly quick. So if once you kind of get to know New Yorkers, there's a way to kind of just make fast friends, but at the same time, to get deeper than that is a bit harder. So New York is a very interesting use case. New York is similar to Paris, similar to London in this regard. Yeah, people are kind, but they're not nice. I think that describes New York very well. Is if you run a flat tire, or your bicycle breaks down, or you're lost in the subway, no one's going to really come up to you and say, hey, can I help you? Are you okay? No one's going to do that. But at the same time, if you ask for help, they will help you. And New Yorkers will come. They will be of assistance. And we'll do our best job. And I think New York has that quality. I got to do more thinking about that, but that's a great question. Brooklynites are more guarded. Yeah, Brooklynites are a bit more guarded. Depending, especially certain areas of Brooklyn. Come to Greece is heaven, says Nikos. Oh, yeah, Nikos. Oh, all right. This was a great conversation. Wow, we had a lot of people asking great questions. Thank you so much for such a great questions, everyone. I appreciate that. Todd says Mainers versus Southerners. Oh, wow. Todd is asking another great question. Maine definitely was an awesome place I visited. Out of all the states in the U.S. so far, outside of my native New York, I found Maine to be the most friendly. And Susie is asking, is AOC, Congresswoman AOC, following me? No, but she did like that one post. Yeah, there's a lot more to learn about the world. I think the more I travel, the less I know. And that's beautiful. Because I think if you are stuck in your own bubble, or haven't had the ability to travel, which I know not everyone does, you sometimes might be inclined to think that you know about the world. And certainly some people who travel a bit also think they know a lot about the world. But the more I travel, the less I know. And I think that's a beautiful feeling when I get to this point where I'm like, I I really thought I knew how this worked, but no, it works in a different way. I thought I knew we can do something in one way, but no. I thought we can build in this way, but no, we can also build in that way. I thought people could be this type, but no, people could also be this type. And I think that is a beautiful feeling, a very beautiful feeling. I hope to convey that in my videos. I hope to spread that in all my types of videos, live streams, short videos, documentaries, vlogs. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I definitely will be going to more places around the world. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Athens Urbanist episode 3 coming out next Thursday at 7 p.m. Have a great day, everyone. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Bye-bye.